Hey guys, it's Timmy, and this is Pro Wrestling Unlimited. As we are here on the, what is the date? The 21st of, it's the 21st of February. I don't know why I'm all congested, or not congested, combobulated. I'm trying to learn this new, what's it called? YouTube streaming deck thing. They've changed it up. So let me know if everything's working fine for you guys in the live chat, because it's showing me that we're live, but I'm seeing an issue, so I don't know. Let me know if everything looks smooth for you guys in the live chat, as we see who's actually here with us in the live chat to talk about tonight's Friday Night Smackdown. We've got Henry Cavallo, Nathan Hunter, Glenn Hunt, Wayne Montgomery. We've also got Kristen McNutt, Derek Bocek, Eric Chamber. We've got George John Cox, and so many more of you. Yeah, it looks like it's running fine for me, so I think we're going to be good. So as far as SmackDown does go tonight, SmackDown was an alright show. I thought it could have been better, to be completely honest. I'm not going to lie in that regard. But overall, I thought it was alright. Chris is being up with its $2 super chat donation. We can talk about that. She said the glitches mean something. Oh, yeah. They have to mean something. Actually, in that regard to the glitches, let's talk about the glitches. I'm going to pull them up here on the screen. Let's see if I can get them up here. So, the first glitch... Let's see. I got the images here off of Twitter. So, the first glitch we saw, let's transition this over. So, this was the first glitch we saw. Like, there was static, and then it glitched to like a motherboard surface thing, and then showed this kind of like 3/4 envelope, like an email kind of deal. And so we saw that, and I'm like, what could this be? And let me pull up the other image here. And then we saw, a second time we saw this. The same envelope email looking thing, but with these circles around it. I know some people have said, could that be alluding to Ali, Mustafa Ali, because of his light on his hand glove thing. But to be completely honest, I don't know what this is leading to at all. I have no clue what this could be, whether it's a wrestler coming in, it's got to be a wrestler coming in, whether it's a single wrestler, whether it's a tag team. I have no clue what this could be, to be completely honest. It's mind-boggling. We saw it last week, not as in-depth, but we saw the glitches last week as well. And so we'll see if they continue, how long they continue, and if there's any more, I guess you could say, what's the word I'm looking for? Prominent teases that can kind of like tell us more on who this could possibly be. So as far as that goes, like I said, I'm not sure what it could be. I don't know who it could be. Whether, like I said, it's a tag team, whether it's a singles wrestler. I'm baffled just as much as you guys are, to be completely honest. Alright, so, as far as SmackDown goes tonight, like I said, I thought the show was an alright show. They started off with a video package of Goldberg before opening to the theme song. It's noted that Goldberg will appear live for the first time on Fox, which technically that's not true, because Goldberg was in the crowd and shown on screen during the SmackDown on Fox debut. Correct me if I'm wrong, but he was shown in the front row with Mark Henry, I believe. I could be wrong on that, as far as who he was with, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was. Kristen McNutt, please don't get rude with other people in the live chat. Just saying. Nathan Hunter, we don't have an update on Sasha other than yesterday. PW Insider did report that she was supposed to be backstage tonight. So they announced that Braun Strowman and Elias will team up tonight to take on Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro in a Symphony of Destruction match. Which, damn interesting-ass match if I ever seen one. But the show started off with the Usos making their way out to the ring. They noted that they weren't on the show last week, and Miz and Morrison won't stop talking about them on social media. Jimmy promised Miz and Morrison a super kick party, not the first time we've heard them reference super kick party on Smackdown, so I don't know what that's leading to. I don't know if they're just saying it to say it or what. They then pointed out that they're not taking on Miz and Morrison, Dolph Ziggler, and Robert Roode alone tonight. They got some partners, and those partners were the New Day. New Day come out, do their whole rigmarole, 7-time champs. The Usos thank the New Day for keeping the belts warm for them until they're able to get them. Big E called the Usos one of the greatest tag teams of all time. I mean, it's hard to say of all time. I mean, they're up there. They're up there. But as far as, I know that there's an argument for them being the greatest tag team of the last decade. It's either them or the Young Bucks. Some can argue the Young Bucks, some can argue the Usos, and to be completely honest, either one I could see an argument for. So Kingston called them future WWE Hall of Famers and pointed out the Usos are 6-time champions. New Day 7-time champions. So the New Day got in the Usos' faces. Big E pointed out that that's one less than them. The Miz and Morrison would then interrupt. They tried to get people to chant their names. Didn't work. They promised to win the tag team titles at Super Showdown. They then introduced their partners for the night, Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode. Morrison pointed out that Ziggler had a great Valentine's Day date last week, and the heels surrounded the ring as the Usos said, hey, let's not wait, let's do this match right now. So we got the New Day and the Usos taking on John Morrison, The Miz, Dolph Ziggler, and Robert Roode. The faces isolated Ziggler on their side of the ring early for the advantage. The heels jumped Kingston from behind at one point and pulled him to the floor. Miz rocked Kingston with a boot on the floor to take over control. On commentary, Michael Cole and Corey Graves discussed Ziggler stealing Otis's date Mandy Rose last week. Kingston and Morrison fought on the top turnbuckle. Kingston knocked Morrison off and nailed all three heels with boots, knocking them to the apron, or off the apron. Morrison recovered and rocked Kingston with a kick to the head. After commercial break, the heels were firmly in control and continued the beatdown on Kingston. Kingston backdropped Ziggler to the floor and hit a double foot stomp on Roode. Big E got the hot tag and ran wild here. He hit a splash on The Miz and set up for the big ending. Miz slipped out and tagged Morrison. Big E attempted a running spear off the apron, but Morrison hit him with a knee. Morrison then hit the Shining Wizard and Shooting Star Press, but Kingston broke up the pin attempt. Jimmy rocked Morrison and Miz with super kicks. Roode then hit a glorious DDT. Roode attempted to hit the DDT on Jay, but he fought out and hit a super kick, picking up the victory so the babyfaces win here tonight. So then something that wasn't all that great. So we see Daniel Bryan walking around backstage, and he walks right past Heath Slater. Heath Slater's got his back towards the camera, kind of just like rocking back and forth, just standing there. I'm like, what the hell is Heath doing? Is he gone local crazy? And Drew Gulak ends up approaching Daniel Bryan. And so he approaches Daniel Bryan. He tells Daniel Bryan, I've watched your matches over the last couple of weeks. I watched your match last week in tag team action. I watched your match against Heath Slater, and I've seen a lot of holes in your game, Daniel. So what I've done is I've put together a PowerPoint presentation to let you know where you can improve. Gulak mentioned that, and when Gulak said Heath Slater just all of a sudden turns around and goes, hey, did I hear my name? And I'm like, what the fuck? So Slater approaches them and just goes, I want another match with Daniel Bryan. I want another match with you. I wasn't ready. And Daniel Bryan goes, okay. And he goes, I'm ready anywhere, anytime. And I go, fucker just said he wasn't ready, But now he's saying that he'd be ready anywhere, anytime. That makes no sense. Whatever. Bryan then agreed and told Gulak to help Slater out since Bryan has so many holes in his game. Bryan walked off. Gulak turned to Slater to tell him they have a lot to work on. So they then recap the Otis-Mandy romance that failed to have their date last week when Dolph Ziggler showed up. In the back, we see Mandy and Sonya when Tucker approaches them. So Tucker approaches, and he was mad that she broke Otis's heart. He said Otis is one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet, and Otis was so heartbroken he didn't even want to leave his hotel last week. Mandy said, well, he was like, first Tucker was like, why'd you even let Dolph do that? She was like, well, I assumed Otis just wasn't going to come. He was late, and he never showed up. And Tucker was just like, you texted Otis and said you were running late. Mandy goes, I don't know what you're talking about. And Sonya Deville acted very confused. Before Tucker walked off, fans chanted for Otis. And Rose, she's like, I was looking forward to the date with Otis. I don't know what happened. Deville told her, oh, don't worry about it. Ziggler's more of a Mandy Rose type of guy anyways, and the fans booed that. So, did Sonya Deville take Mandy's phone and text Otis I'm running late so that Otis would take his time, and then maybe Sonya sent Dolph? Sonya's fucking it all up. I don't know. Maybe Sonya's jealous that Mandy's got a man and she wants Mandy. Just saying. So then Renee Young interviewed Lacey Evans. Young pointed out that Evans was a bully, just like Bayley and Sasha are. Evans tried to claim that calling people nasties is a term of endearment. She then admitted to being a bully, but I've learned from that. She said that she's learned that she doesn't want to be like Banks and Bayley. She talked about not being on Smackdown since losing to Bayley at the Royal Rumble, and then said her next goal is to become the champion. How is she going to do that? She knows that losing to Bayley put her at the end of the line, but now her goal is to fight against 5 other women in the Elimination Chamber. So, fast forward a little bit, Sheamus cut a promo stating that he's going to be in the Elimination Chamber. So that leads us to believe, or basically confirms, 3 chamber matches at Elimination Chamber. Raw women for a shot at the Raw Women's Championship, SmackDown women for a shot at the SmackDown Women's Championship, and SmackDown men for a shot at the Universal Championship. And it already looks like that advertised lineup, that advertised match is being changed because Sheamus was not advertised originally. So next up, we got the Symphony of Destruction tag team match. Braun Strowman and Elias against Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro. Various musical instruments are surrounding the ring, like a gong, a piano, and Braun even brought down a cello or a bass, whatever you want to call it. So Elias sang a song before the match started, going over the rules of the match, and then introduced his partner Braun Strowman, the Intercontinental Champion. Zayn was holding a ukulele, and like I said, Strowman came out holding the bass. They started as a standard tag team match despite being a no-holds-barred contest. Zayn handed a tambourine. I don't know why I read that as trombone. Tambourine to Nakamura, but Elias used it instead. Elias rolled out and grabbed a drum. Cesaro cut him off. He looked like he was going to use it on him, or Cesaro was going to use it on Elias. Strowman grabbed it and smashed it over the head of Cesaro. Zayn then hit Strowman with the ukulele. Strowman was unfazed and, Sammy ran away. Strowman chased him, but Nakamura nailed him with a guitar. Back from a commercial break, Cesaro tried to use a cowbell, but Elias used it instead. Elias attempted a suplex off the apron, but Zayn grabbed Elias' leg. Cesaro knocked Elias off the apron through a table. Strowman took over and threw Cesaro over the announce table. Cesaro tried to hit Strowman with a guitar, but Strowman chokeslammed him off the announce table instead. Strowman went to pick up the stand-up bass, but Zayn hit him with a keyboard. Cesaro and Nakamura then gave Strowman a double suplex onto the stand-up bass that was laying on the floor. The base shattered into like a million pieces. So Elias at one point is setting up a table at ringside. Comes into play later. Nakamura attempts to pin Sasha on the floor, but Elias moves out of the way, and Nakamura crashes into the gong. Elias then places Cesaro on top of the table, climbs to the top rope, but Nakamura stops him. Strowman then tosses Nakamura onto the announce table. Elias flies off of the top rope, through the table, through Cesaro, at the same time, basically, or like moments later. Strowman then gives Nakamura a power slam off the announce table onto the piano, pins him 1, 2, 3. Spot looked brutal. Babyfaces pick up the victory. Medical staff. Well, actually, I forgot to mention, when Strowman hits the power slam on the piano, he falls backwards, hits his head on the side of the announce table. When he goes to stand up to go for the cover, he stands up, almost falls right back down. I don't know what that was all about. Hopefully he's not injured or anything. And he falls on top of Nakamura, gets the pin, and as he goes to stand up, you see him mouth, no, I'm fine. Because the referee looked to be asking him what's going on. And he said, no, I'm fine. So, we'll see. They were checking on Nakamura for a while at ringside after this match. And they even made note of that on commentary. So, hopefully these guys are okay. I know Elias was bleeding from the back. Braun Strowman had a gnarly cut on his back. They like swole up quickly. So they recap King Corbin and Roman Reigns in their feud. Coming up at Super Showdown, they will be in a steel cage match. Kayla Braxton then interviewed King Corbin in the back. Corbin noted that Reigns never beat him in a one-on-one match. Really? He said that, so let me see this straight. Was it Royal Rumble not a one-on-one match? Yeah, there was interference, but that was technically a one-on-one match, brother. He said that he has to hide behind his cousins, but now he's going to be all alone with Corbin in a cage. He promised to replace Roman on the posters and as the face of WWE. Okay. We then got a moment of bliss. Alexa Bliss came out and said that this is a Hall of Fame-worthy addition.
Sorry, I don't know that one.
It's all good, Alexa. So she said that we already know that Batista and the NWO are going into the Hall of Fame, but we also are announcing tonight that the Bella Twins are going into the Hall of Fame. The Bellas then just came out. No video to recap their careers or anything. They posted it on social media, but it was weird that it didn't get actually played on television. I guess the show was just not timed out well enough or something. Ooh. So the Bellas come out, and to me, correct me if I'm wrong, but was this one of the most overly scripted things we have seen in a long time? Because this seemed very, very scripted. So Nikki and Brie came out and stated that, they're happy to go into the WWE Hall of Fame. They're grateful to their fans, the Bella Army. They're grateful to make this announcement in their hometown. Nikki noted that they wouldn't have been able to break barriers without their Bella Army. Brie said, speaking of breaking barriers, and then she pointed out that Alexa Bliss is the first female to have her own quote-unquote talk show on WWE television. Alexa said, this isn't about me, it's about you guys going into the Hall of Fame. The Bellas discussed their pregnancy, being only a week and a half apart, Nikki's engagement, and so forth before Daniel Bryan's music would hit. This was kept very short, and I'm glad that it was. Bryan came out with his daughter Birdie. They hugged Brie. Bryan gave her a kiss. He gave Birdie to Brie, and then he went down to the ring for his match with Heath Slater. So Drew Gulak was on commentary. Michael Cole, I don't know what the hell was up with him. He's like, we're joined here by Heath Slater. And Corey Graves goes, no, Heath's in the ring. This is Drew Gulak, Cole. And Gulak goes, are you asleep, Michael Cole? I'm offended. I'm like, holy crap. What the hell, Cole? So Graves said that Slater is the one in the ring, not me. Bryan dominated the match, but Slater briefly took over. Slater climbed to the top, but Gulak yelled at him, get down, don't do that. Slater ignored and missed a diving headbutt. Bryan made a comeback and rocked Slater with the yes kicks. Gulak said that Daniel takes too much time pandering to the crowd. Bryan went for his running knee, but Slater rolled up Bryan for a near fall. Bryan recovered and hit a running knee for the victory. Here we go. So in the back, we see Mandy Rose as she's ready to leave. I guess, well, since Mandy had nothing to do, she's allowed to leave early. And she's standing there with her bags, all by herself, I may add, when Dolph Ziggler approaches. He goes, "Hey, what's up? What are you doing?" She's like, "Oh, I'm waiting for my Uber." And Dolph just goes, "Well, my ride's already here. Why don't you roll with me?" And she goes, "Oh, okay." So they walk out of the building. And frickin' Otis is hiding behind a production box. He steps out as they leave. And I'm like, stalker? What? Is Otis stalking Mandy? That's the only thing I can notice. Is Otis stalking Mandy? So then for the second time tonight, we see the weird glitch thing. We talked about that earlier already. We talked about Sheamus saying that he's done with facing guys like Shorty G and Apollo Crews. He wants bigger targets, and he's entering into the Elimination Chamber. Then in the locker room, Shorty G talked with Crews. Shorty G tried to give him a little pep talk about bullying. And he said, "Hey, you can deal with Sheamus all you want, but I'm going to deal with him in my own way." That's what Crews said to Shorty G. Pronouns, pal. Then we had the number one contenders match, Naomi against Carmella. Johnny Blakely, you're right. I saw that on my phone just moments ago. Kyle Busch wins the truck race. In his hometown, may I add, of Las Vegas, Nevada. Oscar Montiel, thank you for the super chat donation. And we do have a couple of text messages. I'll read those before we move on. If you guys want to send in your thoughts on tonight's SmackDown, you can do so at 510-906-1341. First text message here says, "Hey Tim, you say in your videos that WWE is talking to bring WWE content to ESPN Plus. Correct. According to Dave Meltzer, he does state in this week's Wrestling Observer newsletter that WWE has had talks with ESPN about putting pay-per-views on ESPN Plus. We don't know anything else other than the talks are happening. So we don't know if that means $4.99 for ESPN Plus, you get it all, or $4.99 plus an additional fee to get the pay-per-views. We don't know any other details. This person's also asking about the ESPN Plus thing, stating, "What do you think the future of the WWE Network could be? Because I like to watch all the old pay-per-views." WWE Network will stay a thing. WWE Network will stay around with old pay-per-views, new original content, and maybe some of the pay-per-views. Maybe some of the B-level pay-per-views like Elimination Chamber or the Saudi Arabia shows. Those can stay on the WWE Network. But other stuff like Mania, Royal Rumble, SummerSlam could go to ESPN Plus. So the WWE Network is going to stay a thing. It's just, what version are we going to have possibly soon? Because Vince did state that he wants to make some sort of an announcement about this before Q1 is over and Q1 ends at the end of March. This person says, "How come Sami Zayn has not been wrestling?" Good question. Dave Meltzer talked about that in this week's Wrestling Observer newsletter, saying that Sami is still limited because he's still having shoulder issues. And this person says, "If Nia Jax was to come back, what brand will she be on?" I think if you look at Raw and SmackDown, you think, well, she... It's tough because we don't know, because she's done the heel thing, she's done the babyface thing. We don't know if she's going to be a heel, we don't know if she's going to be a babyface. If she's going to be a heel, I'd say throw her on SmackDown. If she's going to be a babyface, I'd say throw her on Raw. But at the same time, you can argue either way, so I honestly don't know. I heard she was supposed to be back in January, and I don't know why they're waiting. I mean, maybe she makes her big return on SmackDown in the Elimination Chamber, since we only know of one name so far with Lacey Evans. So that could be the thing. So, talking about the women, we got Naomi versus Carmella. Winner moves on to Super Showdown to take on Bayley Bayley was at ringside at the start of this match. Naomi and Carmella shook hands to kick off the contest, but Naomi then would not let go of the handshake, pulled her in, and put her in a side headlock. Carmella countered with a side headlock of her own. Naomi recovered and hit a back elbow. They traded pin attempts early on. Carmella caught Naomi with a spinning head scissor. She attempted a dive, but Naomi cut her off. Naomi climbed to the top turnbuckle, but Bayley distracted her. Carmella used a Hurricane Rana on Naomi and followed it up with a suicide dive. The referee threw Bayley out. I don't know why. Bayley was just running around ringside. I never really saw her get involved, but referee Jessica Carr said, "Bayley, you're out of here." I guess, Naomi looked at Bayley at ringside, and that's why she got kicked out, because you're like, oh, you're a distraction. I don't get it. After a commercial break, Naomi hit a series of kicks, but Carmella recovered. Naomi hit a springboard kick, but clearly missed. Corey Graves tried to cover up by pointing out that Naomi didn't get all of it, but she got some of it. Naomi followed this up with the corkscrew plancha to the floor. Carmella fought back and scored a very close near fall. Carmella locked on the Code of Silence, but Naomi made it to the ropes. Naomi hit her rear view, but only got a near fall off of it. They made a big deal, stating how that move usually takes out the opponent of Naomi, but this time it didn't. The finish of the match then came when Naomi hit a kick and a blockbuster. She followed this up with a split-legged moonsault and picked up the victory, pinning Carmella. So now with that, Naomi will challenge Bayley for the Smackdown Women's Championship at Super Showdown. Before we move on to the final segment of Smackdown, I'm going to tell you about this week's sponsor. This week's sponsor is a new one. It is 366 Athletic Apparel. 366 is the fastest growing athletic apparel company that focuses on performance apparel for any occasion. They specialize in golf, workout, and casual athleisure apparel for both men and women. Customers can choose from multiple styles, colors, and sizes for everything from performance jackets to innovative athletic polo shirts. With over 40 products currently available, 366 adds new products every month. If you use the link in the description below, not only will you be supporting us here at PWU Unlimited, but you will also get 10% off of your purchase and free shipping. So again, use the link in the description below. Head over to 366.com and, well, let us know what you think of them, and maybe you can find something for you. Again, they've got a lot of cool, great athletic apparel for both men and women, and if you use the link in the description below, you will be supporting us here at Pro Wrestling Unlimited. So with that, we got the final segment of the night. It's Goldberg. Goldberg came out live in front of the crowd in Glendale, Arizona. Fans broke out in a huge Goldberg chant. The crowd gave him an enormous reaction when he finally made his way down to the ring. Fans broke out in another loud Goldberg chant. He said it's been a long time since he's been in a Smackdown ring, so he's going to take his sweet time. He turned his attention to Bray Wyatt and said that he's ready for Super Showdown. Bray Wyatt and the Firefly Funhouse interrupted. Goldberg said, "I'm not playing your games." Your stupid games, actually, he said. Wyatt then introduced some of his friends. Ramblin' Rabbit said that he loves Goldberg, so Wyatt squashed him with a mallet. He said, "One more person is dying to meet you, Goldberg." Lights go out. Goldberg said, "I'm not concerned. I know the Fiend's right behind me." Big smile on his face. Lights come back on, and the Fiend was right behind him. Goldberg then calmly turns around. They have a brief stare down before Goldberg hits the Fiend with a spear. The Fiend was hurt and backed into the corner. Goldberg teased his second spear, but the lights went out. When the lights came back on, the Fiend was gone. So, that's our go-home show for Super Showdown, the final Smackdown before next Thursday's show. It'll be at 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, an early morning show on a Thursday. We'll see how it all does go. Again, that was Smackdown. We do have a couple more text messages I do want to read here. This person does state, "Do you think Bayley will not defend her title at WrestleMania because she will face Naomi at Super Showdown?" No, she will defend her title at WrestleMania because, as we learned tonight, there is a women's Elimination Chamber match at Elimination Chamber where the winner moves on to WrestleMania to challenge Bayley or maybe Naomi for the SmackDown Women's Championship. So that title will be on the line at WrestleMania. Actually, in this week's Wrestling Observer newsletter, it was reported that there may be up to 6 women's matches at WrestleMania. Raw Women's title, SmackDown Women's title, WWE Women's Tag Team Championships, NXT Women's Championship, the Women's Battle Royal, and another match. So there could be up to 6 women's matches at WrestleMania. Wayne Montgomery asked a good question. He says, "Are you doing a review after the show on Thursday?" We will, but it's not going to be directly after Super Showdown because it might, but that all depends on what time the show ends. Because if the show ends between 1 and 2 p.m., I will not be able to do it because I have to pick my kids up from school at 2. So if the show ends any later than 1 p.m. Pacific, I will not be able to do a immediate review of Super Showdown. If that is the case, then I will be doing it later on in the night at either 7 p.m. Pacific or 8 p.m. Pacific, just depending on how my schedule goes that day with the kids and stuff, whether they get to bed early or if their mom can take my son to wrestling practice. It just all depends. It just all depends on my schedule. So, again, like I stated, I'm going to play it by ear as far as when I do my review, and I will let you guys know exactly how that's going to work. Don Chell Bailey says, "Are you going to do predictions?" Yes, we will have predictions for Super Showdown up here on the channel. But with that, I think that's going to do it. This last person here with a text message says, "Do you think these glitches will lead to Killer Cross?" I could have said maybe last week, but then when we saw the envelope thing this week, it led me to think no. I don't think it's going to be Killer Cross. So we'll see how it all does go. But that's SmackDown. This is our review of SmackDown. I want to thank everybody who did join me here live to talk about Friday Night SmackDown. Everybody who watched later right here on YouTube and listened on podcast services all around the world like iTunes, Google Play Music, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and so many more. Have a good night, guys, and we'll see you later.